This is actually a great question, and I would love to chit chat with you guys about it. So keep in mind, all of this is relative to the specific market within Kansas City. I'm going to say Kansas City as a whole, but like not every market in Kansas City has lines of cars outside of listings selling $50,000 over list price. But relative to how that particular market looked last year, it's more intense across the board. I think there's four main reasons, and I'm literally holding up four fingers so I don't forget to say all of them. Number one, I think that the interest rates dipping a little bit has made a difference. They're kind of bouncing around, but there have been moments where we've seen a 5 in front of the interest rate. And although the actual math of your payment amount from like a 6.1 to a 5.9 is not that different, there's something psychological about seeing interest rates with a 5 in front of it. So I think that is a factor. Number two, I think that we have had a bottleneck in the market of a lot of people sitting in their homes longer than they typically would have because they had such a great interest rate that are now just getting tired of it. So there's a lot of people that are like in their starter home that typically would have moved up by now that haven't because they've had such a great interest rate. But like you have babies, your kids turn into teenagers, you have job changes, and now you have a longer commute. Like the life stuff is still happening, and it's kind of created this like bottleneck effect that's finally like coming out the top, where we're suddenly seeing all these people be like, all right, I guess it's time to move. I just got to do it. Number three, we had a really mild winter in Kansas City. And I know that this sounds crazy. My point four is going to sound even crazier, but the weather impacts real estate really dramatically. Like if I have a seller that's going to list on a weekend that it's going to be rainy and nasty and they don't have to list that weekend, I'll tell them to wait until the next weekend if it's going to be nicer. And that really makes a difference. So I think the fact that we had a mild winter meant that like the spring market, like more activity started earlier this year. And then the fourth reason is that I think the Chiefs missing the playoffs this year really impacted our market. I know that sounds insane, but like, trust me, when the Chiefs are playing, you don't have an open house. No one's coming. Like the market goes silent on Chiefs Sundays. And so the fact that they didn't make the postseason meant that like there were several weeks that they normally would be playing and people would be occupied with that, and they weren't this year. And I think even for people that aren't like really into football, you could sense it around the community. It was kind of like, well, what do we do with our January now? Like, well, it's not terrible out, so I guess let's go look at houses. So anyways, those are the reasons that I think the market has changed dramatically in Kansas City lately. And again, it's relative. So like that doesn't mean if you have a house to sell in Belton, you're going to be guaranteed multiple offers and 50,000 over list. And frankly, even in Overland Park, you can misprice it. You can misstage it. If the photos are bad, like there's a lot of factors that could prevent you from getting that reaction that you're wanting to get. So you have to still be strategic and smart about it. But the market is going to be very kind to you right now if you have a house to sell in that area for sure.